Level 1, the Chinpira. You're 18 years old. Tokyo is raining, and the neon lights of Kabukicho reflect in the puddles. You failed your university entrance exams. Your father stopped looking at you 6 months ago. You left home with a backpack and 10,000 yen. Now, you stand on a corner outside a pachinko parlor, wearing a cheap tracksuit, holding an umbrella for a man you barely know. You're a Chinpira, a street punk, the lowest form of life in the underworld. You don't belong to the family yet. You're just useful garbage. Your job is to be seen and to take the hits. When a drunk salaryman refuses to pay his massive tab at Hostess Club, you're the one who walks him to the ATM. You stand too close. You breathe on his neck. If he yells for the police, you take off running. You make barely enough to eat convenience store ramen and sleep in a 24-hour internet cafe. One night, a rival street gang disrespects one of the older guys. They tell you to handle it. You find a kid in an alley behind a karaoke bar. You don't have a gun. Guns carry a 10-year mandatory sentence in Japan. You have an aluminum baseball bat. You swing it until your arms ache and the kid stops moving. When you walk back to the parlor, your hands are shaking, but the older man just nods. He buys you a bowl of hot soba. He tells you to buy a black suit. You're moving up. Level 2, the Koban. You're 21. You're no longer a stray dog. You are about to become a son. The ceremony is called Sakazuki. It happens in a traditional room with tatami mats, hidden behind a legitimate real estate office. You wear a black kimono. The Oyabun, the patriarch of the family, sits at the head of the room. Shinto shrines flank him. A mediator pours sake into a porcelain cup. The Oyabun drinks first, then the cup is handed to you. You drink the rest. With that single swallow of rice wine, your old life is dead. Your biological parents mean nothing. The Oyabun is your father now. The other men are your brothers. You are a Koban, a child of the syndicate. Your first assignment as a made man isn't on the street. It's Jayagiya, real estate eviction. The family wants to sell a city block to a major developer, but 3 elderly tenants refuse to leave their apartments. You don't touch them. You just make them want to leave. You glue their locks shut. You play deafening heavy metal music through their walls at 3 a.m. You dump rotting garbage on their doorsteps. After 3 weeks, they sign the papers and leave. The developer pays the family 500 million yen. You are handed an envelope with 2 million yen. Cash. You buy a tailored suit. You buy a Rolex. You walk through Kabukicho, and the club bouncers bow to you. You're somebody now, but you also start the ink. You sit for a master tattoo artist. Bamboo needles piercing your back, tapping ink into your skin hour after hour. The Irezumi, a koi fish swimming up a waterfall. It hurts blindingly, but you don't flinch, because showing pain is showing weakness, and weakness gets you killed. Level 3, the Kyodai. You're 28. You're an older brother now. You have Chinpira holding umbrellas for you. You run a district. 5 hostess clubs, 2 illegal baccarat parlors, and a lone sharking operation. The money is flowing. You pull in 10 million yen a month for the family. You drive a black Mercedes with tinted windows. But with responsibility comes consequence. One of your younger brothers, a kid you vouched for, gets caught skimming from the baccarat parlor. 3 million yen missing. In the Yakuza, mistakes are not forgiven. They are paid for. Since you are his sponsor, his mistake is your mistake. You have to apologize. You sit alone in your apartment. You place a clean white cloth on the table. You take out a tanto, a short samurai dagger. You place your left hand flat on the table. You don't hesitate. You press the blade to the joint of your pinky finger and push down hard. The bone crunches. Blood soaks the white cloth. You wrap the severed tip of your finger in the cloth and place it in a small wooden box. You take the box to the Oyabun's office. You kneel on the floor and slide the box across the desk. Yubitsume, the ritual of atonement. The Oyabun looks at the box, then looks at you. He nods. The debt is settled. The younger brother who stole the money is never seen again. You learn to hold your steering wheel with 9 fingers. You can never hide what you are now. You can't go to a public bathhouse because of the tattoos. You can't hide your hands because of the missing finger. Society has locked its doors to you. The family is your only universe. Level 4, the Sokaiya. You're 35. The street violence is beneath you now. The Yakuza is a corporation, and you're middle management. You leave the tracksuits behind. You wear $5,000 Tom Ford suits. You carry a briefcase. You are a corporate extortionist. You buy minimum shares in Japan's largest publicly traded companies. Electronics firms, car manufacturers, banks. Because you're a shareholder, you have the right to attend their annual meetings. But you don't go to listen. You go to research. You hire private investigators. You find out the CEO has a mistress. You find out the CFO is embezzling funds. You find out the factory is dumping toxic waste. A week before the shareholder meeting, you invite the CEO to a private dinner in Ginza. You pour him a glass of $1,000 whiskey. You slide a folder across the table. Photos, bank records. You smile politely. You tell him that it would be a shame if these issues were brought up at the public meeting. The Japanese corporate world values honor and public image above all else. Scandal is worse than death. The CEO is sweating. He asks how much. You don't ask for cash. You're too smart for that. You tell him to hire your family's legitimate consulting firm for 50 million yen a year. Or you tell him to use your construction company for their next factory build. The contracts are signed. The money is washed clean. The police can't touch you because it's all legal paperwork. You're making the family richer than drugs or gambling ever could. You dine with politicians. You play golf with police chiefs. You are the shadow behind a boardroom. Level 5, the Wakigashira. You're 45, the first lieutenant, the second in command of a syndicate with 5,000 members. You don't collect money anymore. You collect power. The Oyabun is old. He leaves the daily operations to you. You're the architect of the empire. But peace in the underworld is an illusion. A rival syndicate from Kobe, the Yamaguchi-gumi, is trying to move into your territory in Tokyo. They open a front company 3 blocks from your headquarters. It's an insult, a test. If you do nothing, you look weak. If you attack openly, the police will raid your offices. You orchestrate a ghost war. You don't use your own men. You hire unaffiliated hitmen, desperate kids in debt, just like you used to be. You give them stolen motorcycles and unmarked revolvers. On a Tuesday afternoon, the rival boss steps out of a sushi restaurant in Roppongi. A motorcycle speeds by. 3 shots. The rival boss drops dead on the pavement. The motorcycle vanishes into Tokyo traffic. The shooters are caught 2 days later. They confess to the murder, but they don't know your name. They don't know who paid them. They take life sentences. You send their families 20 million yen a year in secret. The message is sent. The Kobe syndicate backs off. The Oyabun calls you into his office. He pours you a cup of sake himself. A rare honor. But as you drink it, you look at the old man. You realize he's frail. His mind is slipping. The other lieutenants see it too. The whispers start. When the old man dies, who takes the throne? Paranoia wraps around your throat. You start changing your driving routes. You hire former special forces as bodyguards. You realize the most dangerous people in the world aren't the rival families or the police. They're the brothers sitting at the table with you. Level 6, the Kumicho. You're 55. The old Oyabun passed away. The succession was bloody. 2 lieutenants rebelled. You had them dealt with quietly. Now, you sit at the head of the table. You're the patriarch, the Kumicho. Your organization generates $2 billion a year. You own skyscrapers. You have offshore accounts in Singapore and Switzerland. Your name commands fear across the entire country. But you are ruling a dying empire. It's the modern era. The Japanese government passes the Yakuza exclusion ordinances. It is now illegal for any citizen or business to associate with the Yakuza. Suddenly, your billions mean nothing. The banks freeze your accounts. You cannot rent an apartment. You cannot sign a lease for a car. You cannot even buy a cell phone in your own name. If a legitimate business pays you off, the police arrest the business owner, not just you. The oxygen is being sucked out of the room. Your legitimate fronts are collapsing. Membership is plummeting. Young men don't want to be Yakuza anymore. They want to be cyber criminals. They don't want the tattoos or the severed fingers. The old code of chivalry, the Ninkyo, is dead. You are a billionaire who can't open a bank account. You live in a massive, fortified compound in the mountains outside Tokyo. 20-foot walls, security cameras, men patrolling with guard dogs. You are completely untouchable and completely trapped. Level 7, the Ghost. You're 65. You spend your days tending to bonsai trees in the courtyard of your fortress. You haven't left the compound in 3 years. The police have surveillance vans parked permanently at the end of your street. They don't even try to hide anymore. They're just waiting for you to die. You watch the news on a flat-screen TV. A new underground group, a hangir, a half-gang of youths with no tattoos, no codes, and no honor, just robbed a jewelry store in Ginza. They are messy. They are violent. They don't respect the old ways. But the police can't track them because they aren't registered Yakuza. You look at your hands. The missing pinky finger. The ink fading on your aging skin. You gave your entire life, your blood, your flesh, your very identity to the family. You built an empire that ran Japan from the shadows. And for what? To die in a cage of your own making. There is no glorious final shootout. There is no blaze of glory. There is just the slow, quiet fading of a man the world has decided it no longer needs. You pour yourself a cup of cold sake. You drink it alone. But back in Kabukicho, in the neon rain, another 18-year-old runaway is standing outside a pachinko parlor. He has no money. He has no family. A man in a tailored suit walks up to him and hands him an umbrella. The kid takes it. The cycle never ends. It just changes its name. This is the Yakuza.